Do stick with us. I want to move, though, to this campaign. Pressure is mounting on work, health and safety ministers to ban engineered stone, with independent MPs and health authorities submitting a joint letter today to call for immediate national action. The move from the independents comes ahead of a meeting in the weeks coming between Federal Workplace Minister Tony Burke and his state and territory counterparts to debate the matter. The dust of silica, this is a common material found in bench tops and bathroom tiles. It's toxic if it's inhaled, and there's a growing number of workers who've been exposed to it who have now been found to have developed silicosis or related lung diseases. The Construction Workers Union has already said that if the federal government does not ban the production, importation and the use of the material by July 2024, the union will ban its members from handling it. So what is it actually doing to us? Well, we're joined now by Vincent So, who is the CEO of the Thoracic Society of Australia and New Zealand and one of the letter's signatories. Vincent, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So tell us a little bit about silica. What does it actually do to someone if they inhale it?
So the dust is highly poisonous and it is smaller than sand by 100 times. So it is very difficult to protect against, almost impossible, and it will scar your lungs. And what is terrible is that it causes diseases like silicosis and lung cancer, and the silicosis is incurable. So at best, if it is detected on time, we can manage it with the correct healthcare professionals, but there is no cure.
Okay, and once you've got it, what sort of things happen to you? What are the symptoms?
So people have trouble breathing. They most likely cannot go to work, and often they have to become, unfortunately, quite a burden on their families. And a big issue is that most of these people get it because of the high intensity nature of their work, can get it as young as their 30s. So these are young fathers and mothers with children in primary school age who are now becoming disabled or at worst dying.
So does it need to be, say, a construction worker who's getting constant exposure to this silica, or could it be just someone who's doing a home renovation? Could they also pick up enough of the silica to cause trouble?
So in both cases, you are at risk. So naturally, if you are a occupational person who works with engineered stone, you are more at risk purely because of volume. However, a home reno person is also at risk, because quite often your standard of PPE is much lower. So even though you have less volume of risk, your protection is by far inferior. So you are definitely at risk still.
Okay, and how widespread do you think the health effects of this engineered stone are? I'm talking about how many people would now have this disease or the diseases it causes.
So Curtin University research shows that almost 40% of tradies are at risk of developing silicosis in later life. The doses are so intense that research from Monash University, led by Dr. Ryan Hoy, has found that employer mandatory basic screening tests actually don't pick up early signs of silicosis. Right. So 40% of x-rays from your chest, 70% of basic lung function tests come back as normal, but these patients actually have silicosis. So conservatively, we can estimate that 300,000 Australians are now at risk of dust diseases caused by breathing in silica dust, and that's more than Hobart and Launceston combined. So it is a terrifying figure. That's such a big number when you think about it. But if you look at the states and territories around Australia, some of them are already promising to outlaw the use of silica, even if a national ban's not agreed on. But is it important that we have a national ban rather than a bit of a piecemeal state and territory sort of response? Yes, it is very important. And the reason is the feds need to stop the importation of this product, which the states can't do. Also, you need a federal approach because this prevents regulatory arbitrage, where companies will simply relocate to another state with looser regulations. Therefore, you need the feds to come in to level the playing field at a higher level. And you also need the states to get on board so that they can enforce these bans at construction sites, factories and retail stores. So it is a multi-pronged approach to do it well.
And you could imagine that the lobby, particularly the manufacturing lobby behind silica, will be in the government's ear. And I know one of their arguments is that you can't ban this stone because if you do, we'll have heaps of businesses go under. And they're saying instead, perhaps there should be stricter safety measures around its use. I think they're talking about PPE and that sort of thing. Is that a viable alternative to banning it outright? Can you protect yourself from it?
Well, first of all, no one's job should be killing them. So if that's the argument that you're protecting one business to make a profit so that a trader can die, that's simply not acceptable. Second of all, for 2 decades we've engineered stone in Australia, and there has been no improvement in the behaviour of these companies. And we have thousands of companies from small to large who deal with engineered stone. So it's basically impossible to monitor all of them. So a ban is really the only practical way to protect workers.
Yeah, well, I understand what you're saying there. The interesting thing I'm also sort of maybe moving forwards to now is if there is a ban on the product, do you think then there'll be any sort of compensation required or ordered for those workers who are already affected?
There absolutely should be compensation. So if anyone does have respiratory symptoms due to their work, we would recommend that they contact their GP, who may then refer them to a respiratory physician, and then also to contact a law firm as soon as possible to ensure that they are getting compensated for getting injured at work.
Okay, so watch this space. It's not going to go away at all quickly, I don't think. Vincent, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
That's Vincent So, the CEO of the Thoracic Society of Australia and New Zealand. And this debate around engineered stone obviously is going to stay in the headlines here at ABC News Radio. We will keep you up to date with the progress of that campaign.